So, fun story, I had actually already recorded this entire video, only at the end to realize I'd never put in the SD card, meaning none of it recorded, and I have to do it all again. Kill me. Alright, round 2. Go. Spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the film, go watch it. It's on the channel, so pause the video and come back. If you haven't seen the film and still care about spoilers, you can skip to the end for my final thoughts and score. For the rest of you, let's begin the review. It's movie review time. Killer is a 2016 film directed by everyone, but specifically by Camden Jewell, Jonathan Rudd, and Matthew Simpson, and stars Matthew Simpson, Riley Roberson, Camden Jewell, Cason Farr, and spoilers, Jonathan Rudd. The movie is... yeah, this is going to be a long one. I'm shaking up the format here and no longer going to do a play-by-play because then we might as well play the whole movie and these videos would really begin to drag, so we're just going to go through each section like normal. Let's start with cinematography. Okay, yes, it looks worse than the graphics of the free Minesweeper from Windows Vista, but could be worse. Just kidding, the 240p quality is actually an abomination and just hurts my eyes to look at. I hope you weren't planning on seeing human faces because the best this movie can give is vague pixels. Now, the big question is, why does the movie look so atrocious? I mean, it was shot on the same camera as Home Invasion, and that one at least has enough pixels to make out a human face. Almost. Some behind the scenes reveal that during the editing process, the clips were sent through text message, and then the entire movie was compressed through Google Drive, meaning what probably started off as at least a 720p movie got wrecked, chewed up, and thrown into the fire till all that was left is this 240p lump of sadness. Now, thanks to the 2018 remastered version of the film, we do know what the film was supposed to look like fully rendered, and honestly, it's not much better. Once again, Camden has yet to learn how to use cuts properly, and every scene feels like a weird version of The Office. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. This would work if this was the style the film was going for, but let's face it, it's clear that this wasn't some expressionist attempt at art. This was just an inexperienced filmmaker having every shot take 5 minutes. There are a couple of decent shots in the movie, like this one, and no, that's it. Yep, there's only one good shot in the entire movie. The only positive thing is that the movie did a little better than Home Invasion with its night scenes, but still, most of the time it's very hard to see who and what's going on. So somehow this movie feels like a little bit of a backtrack when it comes to cinematography, feeling much closer to life of a middle schooler. Even though the movie looks like crap, how about the plot? So the plot is... alright, the basic summary given literally in the first shot of the movie is Detective Ralph is on his way to ask friends of a recently murdered teen about the crime. And then the killer shows up at the boy's house, does some killing, and then Ralph comes to save the day. Except he doesn't. Based off the summary alone, it sounds like the movie wouldn't be too bad. I mean, hey, a crime detective thriller is always fun. How could you mess that up? Alright, so where does the movie fall flat then? Everywhere! Remember those fun political talking scenes in The Phantom Menace? Now imagine that, but 3 times longer. Only this time the talking is more confusing and less interesting. Oh, no! That's what over half this film is like. That's right, they just sit and talk and stand and talk and sometimes sit then stand to talk. Also, half the conversation is about characters who never appear on the screen or have 0 lines. No joke, the entire interrogation scene is about 2 characters, one who is dead and the other one who has 2 clips of him walking in, and that's it. We don't even know the characters' names. The only reason we know Ralph, the name of our main character, is because the opening clip expositioned it to us. Speaking of which, let's talk about Ralph, because he's a good 50% of what's wrong with this movie. Ralph is the worst character in the Cyberdyne cinematic universe. Ralph is the second worst character in the Cyberdyne cinematic universe. Yes, he is worse than Henry, Philip, Christy, and the other one combined. He is even worse than the Home and the Invasion from Home Invasion. Ralph is the worst detective alive. First things first, why is he just strolling up in a red shirt and gym shorts? To be fair, no one in the police force dresses like cops, so whatever, but I mean, come on, anything to make this character look different. Also, look at his great questioning skills.
So did you notice any gunshot wounds?
What are you doing? These are kids who just came across the body of their friend. They're not your forensics team. Also, where is forensics? What do you mean I didn't know forensics was here? They should be one of the first ones on site. Why are you the only cop to show up? Also, are you even going to look at the body yourself? I mean, yeah, just kneel down, pretend to do your job. Things only get worse as he interrogates them. I mean, just listen to these questions.
Has Ivan acted unusual or hostile recently?
Well, Ivan and Eric got in a big fight Monday, and Ivan said he was going to kill Eric, but we just assumed it was a joke.
Do you have any more information about Ivan?
I don't know.
Okay, you can leave.
Wow, really digging deep there, bud. So, did you kill Eric? Do you know who killed Eric? No? Alright, have a good day. Ralph just does not know how to cop. I mean, listen to him talk to the chief.
Remember this old case from 2 years ago?
Remember this case? No name, date, description, just this case. Surely you remember this one I'm vaguely describing? Huh. Okay. That works, but still it's dumb. Things continue to spiral downhill when finally the first actual thing to happen in this movie happens. He sees the witness he's about to interrogate get kidnapped by a masked man, possibly the killer. And what does Ralph do?
He's picking off the witnesses. I gotta warn them.
Are you kidding me? He's right there, Ralph. What are you doing? He's on your front doorstep. Just go arrest him. But no. Ralph decides to go and
warn them
about the killer who is currently outside the police station. If this wasn't stupid enough, this little decision drives the rest of the plot for the franchise. That's right. Ralph's one stupid decision allows the rest of the story to happen. And Ralph doesn't even attempt to go outside. He just leaves the station. Also, remember how Ralph says,
"But I want to place you under witness protection."
Yeah, he lied. No one shows up. The boys are completely on their own. Ralph's decisions only get worse because the second time he has a chance to catch the killer who just murdered Kid Bobby right behind Ralph's back, he does what?
I better go check.
What do you mean? The killer's right behind you. But oh, I guess we gotta have him walk here so he can have this cool shot because the killer can't teleport. Ralph eventually checks the closet where Kid Bobby finally becomes useful by being dead. After that, the killer reveals himself. A quick shootout happens where Ralph is outgunned because
that guy's a pistol. He's got a machine gun.
Somehow misses an almost point-blank shot. The killer teleports like an Enderman and somehow ends up behind Ralph to finally... That's it. The end. What? Did you expect an ending with answers? Too bad, because the ending is behind door number 2. Alright, so, the movie looks like a painting you have to squint to see, and the plot is hot garbage, but surely the dialogue is there to keep you engaged. Right?
I don't know.
Oh boy. Alright, so I already alluded to how characters just stand and talk in every scene like it's the Phantom Menace, but at least in that movie what they were talking about was at least somewhat interesting to someone in the universe. The entire movie feels like it's a sequel to a movie, and we were supposed to already know all of this going in, but it's the first movie. Who's Ralph? What is he like? How does he talk? That's always a good way to establish character.
It just doesn't add up. I need a break from this.
Oh, he's boring. Gotcha. Ralph is just there to spout questions. Seriously, listen to how many questions he asks.
How long has the body been here? Was anybody else
Did
on
you
the
notice
phone?
any gunshot wounds?
What exactly
So what was
now?
what time? What did you
Was Eric actually remember this old case?
Okay, well, in an investigation, you need questions. I get that. That's fine. But what about the answers? Surely they'll be intriguing and keep the plot moving and developing character.
I don't know.
Chief, anything to add? No one talks like a human. Everything is to the point. A question or a 2-word response. What is up with Cyberdyne movies and people's inability to be human? The dialogue is quite possibly the worst dialogue so far in the Cyberdyne universe. And we had this.
Hein, are you joking? She's a brat.
Hey, I was just trying to be sarcastic.
Can nothing save this horrible movie? It's visually atrocious. Its plot is infuriatingly stupid, and the dialogue is staler than a 3-week-old container of cheesy puffballs. There's only one area left. I mean, crappy dialogue can seem brilliant given the right tone and actor. Perhaps this is the one saving grace. Maybe the acting is decent.
He's here! The killer's here! He killed Kevin!
No. Okay. Well, let's attempt to figure this out. So the acting is, well, better than Home Invasion and not laugh out loud bad as Life of a Middle Schooler. But that actually somehow makes it worse. What do I mean by that? Well, Life of a Middle Schooler has stilted and awkward middle school acting, but you kind of expect that from a middle school movie. And let's face it, the movie doesn't really take itself that seriously. It's a comedy and it knows it. Henry, no! Or I think it does. And Home Invasion doesn't really have a lot of dialogue, so most of the acting is just in the action, and in that regard, it's fine. Killer is just, how can I say this nicely? Boring. The shots are boring. The lines are boring. And the delivery is stale toast. I mean, you have a few brief moments like this.
He's picking off the witnesses. I gotta warn them.
Or,
I'm gonna go find them.
but outside of that, Ralph is fine. He doesn't overact, and I guess for a bland, to-the-point detective character, he does it well. His acting is monotone, but so is the character. So Ralph is actually the saving grace of acting in this film. So if Ralph does fine, and the chief at least says his lines, then where does the problem lie?
Detective, I'm glad you could be here.
These two right here somehow both display the two major extremes of bad acting. Kid Bobby is
Find something.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
So yeah, Bobby is overacting the crap out of every single shot. Except when he's underacting,
How long has the body been here?
We found it 45 minutes, maybe an hour.
just says that casually, found his brutally slashed friend's body, and it's just like, oh, we found him a little while ago, not a big deal, almost forgot he was even there. Also, Bobby has a habit of acting with his hands because that's what real people do.
So, what exactly happened last night?
You see, we're having a sleepover, and he decided to go outside for some reason to find something. I don't know. Then,
So yeah, Bobby's acting is pretty over the top and laughably distracting, but I guess at least he keeps the movie from being completely boring. Still easily the worst aspect. And then there is Kevin. Kevin.
I don't know.
Yeah, that sums up Kevin. His main lines are, I don't know, and
There's nothing there.
so yeah, the acting is pretty bland and horrible. I guess it is technically better than Life of a Middle Schooler because at least it doesn't sound like they're reading a script. Probably because there was no script. But at least they attempt to sound serious. Sadly, in their attempt to be serious cops, they end up just looking childish. Okay, that was definitely one of my more rantier reviews. I guess it's just, when it came out, it wasn't a critical success. But over the years, it's gained a cult following, spawning 2 sequels and even a remastered version of the original. I just can't understand the hype. I mean, plenty of good memes have come out of it.
What are you gonna do? I'm gonna go them.
But still, out of all 3 movies, this one is easily the worst, and I think it suffers the same problem as Home Invasion. It may be only 7 minutes, but it feels like an eternity, and that's a problem. The pacing is just so slow and boring. Once again, it lacks that charm and laughably bad moments like Life of a Middle Schooler. So instead of becoming a Room situation where it's so bad it's good, this movie is just bad. It's both too short and too long, the video quality looks like a Minecraft painting, and there is no score, meaning every scene is just... meaning there's literally nothing to keep the audience engaged. I respect the movie for kicking off the franchise that truly keeps Cyberdyne going, but man, is the first one rough. I give Killer a 31 out of 100, meaning it is a fair film to watch, but only really for its ambitious attempt at a serious film, and its slight improvement on acting and story concepts. However, its horrible pacing and bland everything hold it back. So that means in the official Cyberdyne ranking, wow, okay. So Killer ranks the second best Cyberdyne movie right after Life of a Middle Schooler, but is better than... So yeah, hopefully something will dethrone the king one day, but as of now, I guess this is the best Cyberdyne movie ever. Better luck next time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and be on the lookout for more movie review times.